This house will punish any politicians or government officials who do flexing. Lately, the phenomenon of flexing among politicians or government officials has shocked the public. Flexing actually refers to the behavior of someone who flaunts or shows the wealth or luxury he has. This action is done to show wealth and luxury as a form of social recognition and prestige. But, in the context of politicians or government officials, flexing often creates controversy and criticism. Many politicians or government officials are trapped in a pattern of behavior that ignores ethics and uses public money unwisely. Among politicians or government officials, it is often seen in the use of official cars or other luxury facilities such as lodging, restaurants, and social clubs that are not really needed to carry out their duties. This can show an attitude or arrogance and irresponsibility towards spending public money. Besides that, politicians or government officials can also flex through their power displays on various occasions such as public events or through social media. These actions can reinforce their self-image as powerful and important. But it can also show disrespect and ignores the needs of society. The practice of flexing among politicians or government officials doesn't only have an impact on the government's image, but also has a wider impact on society. People will feel disappointed and lose confidence in the government if they see politicians and government officials using public money for their own personal interests. Therefore, we as the government team absolutely agree about this motion. In order to control and prevent flexing among politicians and government officials, as the first speaker, I will limit this motion, so the punishment given to politician or government official who do flexing is removal from office. It is important for politicians or government officials to show humility and use public money wisely and responsibly. The government must also ensure that there are strict rules and mechanisms for oversight of the use of public money by politicians or government officials. The government must also take on supervision over the use of public money by politicians or government officials to minimize flexing practice. Communities can also play an important role in overcoming this flexing practice by becoming active reporters or monitors of practices that are detrimental to society. In order to prevent the practice of flexing among politicians or government officials, it is important to build a culture of integrity and transparency in government. Besides that, if flexing continues to occur among those politicians or government officials, dismissal from office can be carried out to create a deterrent effect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give my argument. There are several things that make me totally agree with this motion. The first is flexing can destroy personality. Flexing will make the personality of someone who does flexing change and make oneself not humble. Among politicians or government officials, flexing will lead to arrogance and irresponsibility towards spending public money. In addition, flexing can increase obsessive and competitive behavior because you want to have everything and can cause health problems. Whereas, the duty of politicians or government officials is to serve public properly, including exemplifying attitudes good in their environment. By flexing, it shows that politicians or government officials are impolite and ignore people's needs. This can lead to disappointment and loss of public trust in the government of politicians or government officials use public money for their own personal interests. Therefore, it is important for officials to show humility and use public money wisely and responsibly. Besides that, politicians or government officials should refrain from displaying luxury either on social media or others, so as not to create separate perception from the public. especially if the wealth gain doesn't match their profile. For example, like Rafael Alun Trisambodo, who as a tax employee and father of Mario Dendi, who went viral some time ago due to an persecution case, and Mario himself often flaunts his wealth on Instagram, and Rafael's wealth is investigated. Eventually, it was also discovered that Rafael's wealth report did not match his profile. The second is the worst impact of flexing is the reputation crisis of public institutions. The biggest problem, which is the worst impact of flexing, is the reputation crisis of public institutions, as experienced by the Ministry of Finance, the Directorate General of Taxes, calls on social media not to pay taxes, negative security from social media in the mass media, embarrassment of being a tax employee, to the difficulties of carrying out daily duties as a tax employee are all indicators that a crisis has occurred. No one expected that this flexing would have such a powerful effect. In fact, this behavior that opened up other problems such as the lack of agility in handling the reputation crisis by public institutions, which can be seen from the Catalonia, the Ministry of Finance, in trying to minimize the impact of this flexing behavior. If a crisis persists, public institutions must be better prepared to deal with it by mastering crisis management so that the impact can be minimized. The last is flexing can cause economic inequality. Economic inequality is not just a matter of social distance and social distance between citizens. Not just a difference in faith and life opportunities, it's not just a luxury house enclosed by high walls versus some houses that are attached to each other. More than that, economic inequality also breeds disappointment, dissatisfaction, and hatred. Inequality creates social tension, which, if not properly resolved, can turn into a social explosion. Flexing or flaunting wealth in the midst of inequality is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It only enrages those living in the bottom of the economic pyramid. While flexing can cause economic inequality, it is because some politicians or government officials or other people who do flexing do not pay their taxes or are in areas. Not a few rich people who like flexing, but their tax contributions are very minimal. For example, like Mario Dandi, who often flexing on social media, he often shows that of carries cars to luxury motorbikes such as the Rubicon and Harley Davidson. However, several luxury items exhibited by Dandi, one of which was the Jeep Rubicon, were indicated to be in areas in paying taxes, as well as increased state revenue from taxes. Paying wealth tax could be one of the solutions. Paying wealth taxes can be an instrument to encourage redistribution of wealth and reduce inequality. Therefore, we as the government team absolutely agree about this motion, because flexing brings more harm than good, especially from himself, society, and the country's economy. I think that's all from me. I close my case. Thank you.